Welcome to Unstitching ADHD Urban Ed Talks. Today we are honored to have Ms. Vera, Erica, a highly experienced bilingual social worker, join us with our expertise in supporting diverse communities and a unique perspective on navigating ADHD in urban education. Ms. Erica, it's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here too.
Thank you. So let's start with your career choice. There's always a story behind why somebody decides to do whatever they are doing. What's your unique story?
I won't bore you with the long story, but the short version is that I was born in Peru in South America.
Mhm,
And as you know, there's a lot of poverty in my country. And
mhm,
I realized the only way out of poverty is social justice and
mhm,
education. And my choice of career reflects both. I do believe in education and I do believe in social justice as the only way to improve our society and especially for those communities who are in most needed.
Oh, that's great. Let's talk about your students based on your experience. What challenges do bilingual students with ADHD face at school?
Well, there's several challenges, and I just want to clarify it as bilingual, not only Spanish speaking. I think
Yes.
just any English learner it struggles, and one of the first challenges is that they come from communities that sometimes their socialization experience is different.
Mhm,
In a lot of countries we socialize in the outdoors, in open spaces, and where we can have more movement and more noise, and we suddenly come to a system where classes where we are in an apartment, in a house, unable to
mhm,
go because of the weather. The recreation is really limited, especially after COVID. So a lot of our English learner or newcomers, as I call them, struggle with the socialization part of coming to a more restricted space that they used to. That's number one. And number two, of course, they have to manage cognitive two languages,
mhm,
and that impact the executive function. ADHD is obviously a condition that impact primarily the executive function. And when memory, when you have to do it in two language, it really causes a double load for our students.
hmm, impressive. So tell me, as a social worker, how can you support students like that?
As a social worker, well, we do a lot, number one, of really teaching our students about their condition, to understand them. It's not that they are bad kids or they don't want to listen. It's part of the condition that there's sometimes a struggle with organization and prioritizing, remembering their homework. So we teach them about the condition, and then we come to an acceptance of their condition, and they are the boss of their condition. They are the boss
Mhm,
of their ADHD. And of course, it's all dependent on the age. We also model, teach, and practice strategies that can help them function better in the school setting. Like we do visual cues, for example. I put little pictures in their desks that remember what are the behavioral expectations, or what is first, second, and third, I think depending on the age of the kid. And there's also another aspect that we work a lot in with our students is really how they emotional self-regulate. A bigger impact of students in ADHD is not only the academic part, but also how do they control or self-regulate their emotions. Kids with ADHD are quick to react.
mhm,
There might be some of them very impulsive, and the third area that we support is a lot of the time kids with ADHD feel either rejected or excluded because of their behavior, or because they feel that they are not like the other students. So we also help them understand, manage, and try to integrate themselves the best way possible into their space, in their community, in the classroom, in the school. Those are the three major areas, that we social workers do. One is the cognitive, the second
mhm.
is the psychological, and the third part is the emotional.
Shona. Thank you. Let's talk about parents. I know that social workers have this unique way of interacting, and most times at the center between parents and educators because of your unique skills, really.
Yes.
So, what from your experience you can say to a parent that they can do to support their kids with ADHD?
Let me tell you, I am very blessed to be able to work not only with the students but also with their families. Sometimes with
Mhm,
grandmas and grandpas and legal guardians or even babysitters because the kids spend a lot of time sometimes in daycare. Um, and the biggest tip that I can tell parents is really learn about your child condition, um, understand that it's a medical condition who have academic ramifications, that have behavioral ramifications, have emotional ramifications, that every parent can model practice strategies to help your student, to help your child live a better, a helpful, or happy life. You don't have to tell your kid 14 times, brush your teeth. You know, show the picture and show the picture, put the picture next to their pajamas or whatever they hang their clothes so they remember what are the steps. There are calendars that you can do at home, there are visual instructions that you can do at home. um, Parents can have consistency, and a schedule is very important. We are retraining the brain,
mhm,
we're rewiring the brain in a way that so that your child can really truly understand what happened first, what happened next, what is the expectation.
mhm,
So having routines, scheduled routines, is very important. I also recommend also parents who go out with their kids always before you get out of the car, let's just say a movie, just go one, two, three. What are the expectations? How do we behave in a movie theater? What is going to happen if your soda falls on the floor or your popcorn fell? What are the right responses to do so? So anticipate problems that could happen in different settings and practice those strategies before they enter in that situation. We're going to grandma's house. Remember, grandma doesn't like you to run. Grandma have different rules in her house. Don't forget that you say thank you, and so the expectations are clear, and kids feel more in control because they understand and they remember the expectations before they enter in every setting.
Now, I know you mentioned something about self esteem, right? There are social workers that don't have your background because your experience is so vast. They are just English speaking and everything they know, the culture and everything is what they are used to, right? How can you advise a social worker listening now how to help students with ADHD, build confidence and social skills? What will be
So
your advice?
I will say to my coworkers or colleagues, when you work with a student of a different background or nationality or religion or any way, get to know your kid, understand the background. I've been blessed to work with a lot of people with Muslim religion, and I came to understand the basic interaction that is expected. The same way, even though I'm Hispanic, I see students from different parts of Latin America,
Mhm.
and I come to understand that each one comes from a different background.
Yes.
Even, for example, there's certain words in Colombia that they are normal words, but in Mexico are not so good words to
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
and that I come to understand just by interacting with them. So
Mhm.
showing interest in where they come from, who they are, having knowledge, looking, seeking knowledge, even if you don't, is very important to find a way to connect with your student to understand their background. When I when I find out that one of my students come from Malaysia, and in a very rural area of Malaysia, so I didn't know nothing about Malaysia. I have to look in YouTube. I have to seek. I have to know where is it, what do they speak, and how do the children go to school, so I can have a point of reference to
Mhm.
speak with these parents. Not that I'm a studious on Malaysia. I need a basic point of reference to welcome them in and to say, I'm interested, I care about where you come from, and I'm trying to understand.
So just essentially being culturally sensitive and trying to figure out, because and I agree
Yes,
with you 100%. They are
yes,
the ones that can tell you who they are. You can't make
exactly.
assumptions about them. So I
Yes.
appreciate that. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. I know there are people who will see your name and say, "Oh, why is she just speaking just English? Is it only English speaking people that need to know some of these tips?" So if you don't mind, can you in Spanish talk to a Spanish
Oh,
parent that is
absolutely.
listening?
Yes. Just a brief review and everything that I say in a
Yes.
small. Okay.
Yes.
Buenas noches para los que hablan español. Mi nombre es Erika Vera, soy trabajadora social. Trabajo con muchos niños que son diagnosticados con deficiencia de atención y hiperactividad. Y los niños que son bilingües tienen un doble problema porque tienen que pensar y recordar en dos idiomas, lo que se les hace más difícil. Hay también a veces una misinterpretación, porque los niños que vienen de países del Caribe o países que tienen mucho bosque, no están acostumbrados a estar encerrados en la escuela o en el apartamento, y eso también puede aparecer como un problema de conducta. Yo les recomiendo que usted aprenda acerca de la condición de su niño, que estudie, que lea o que pregunte con confianza para que usted pueda comprender y apoyar a su niño. Hay muchas maneras de ayudarle a él, enseñarle las estrategias. Nosotros, las trabajadoras sociales, enseñamos a los niños a tener señas visuales donde ellos puedan recordar lo que se espera de ellos. Tenga usted paciencia. Tenemos que sacar esa idea de que son niños malos, sino que son niños con una condición que tienen que ser tratada, y tenemos que ayudarlos a mejorar su conducta y cómo ellos regulan sus emociones. Los niños que se enojan muy rápido, que tienen déficit de atención, necesitan aprender a manejar sus emociones. Y para eso hay que modelarles, hay que enseñarles, hay que hacerlos sentir incluidos en nuestra familia, en nuestra comunidad. Y si usted tiene una pregunta, busque una persona que sepa, que no le dé pena preguntar a alguien. Pregunte usted con confianza. Mil gracias.
Gracias.
I wish I could speak more languages so I can do this in more languages, but
Yeah,
maybe in
this
the
is
next life.
beautiful because awareness is key. So I truly
Absolutely.
appreciate this and thank you so much for sharing your
Thanks.
expertise and
You're
valuable
welcome.
insight with us today. It's been a
And
pleasure
thank
having you on Unstitching ADHD Urban Ed Talks.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I know of your work, and I'm really very happy, very privileged to be a part of it. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Until next time, take care,
Until
keep the
next,
conversation going. Thank you very much.
take care. Thank you so much.